From big snow to big hail, and that doesn't even get into the whole heavy rain, flooding, spinny doom issues we may be dealing with over the next 2 days. We've got a lot of weather to talk about in this special edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. All right, good morning. It's Saturday morning, the 10th of February, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. We don't normally do videos on the weekend, but we've got a lot of weather to discuss, and quite a bit of it could end up being impactful to the state of Texas, from a significant winter storm to an increasing threat for significant severe thunderstorms capable of producing big hail, damaging winds, and the potential for a tornado or two. Let's just go ahead and get into it. We're going to try to talk about each hazard individually, specifically, and give it the time it deserves, but this is probably going to be one of these longer videos. I'll just go ahead and say it now. We're going to have a detailed written post accompanying this over on our website, our weather blog, and the Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. So look for that link in the video description below if you're watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, again, this will have an accompanying written post. Just go to TexasStormChasers.com. You'll find it there. All right, let's jump over to the high-res rapid refresh model. We actually waited a bit this morning to record this video so we could use the 12 Zulu high-res rapid refresh model. That is the 6 a.m. run, to give us a good idea of what we can expect for today, tonight, and to Sunday, and even Monday morning. Now, these black lines you see, those are isobars. Those are areas of surface pressure. We're going to be watching a surface low pressure develop initially in the Edwards Plateau. That's going to move east tonight. There you go, see it there, into south central Texas, the hill country, into southeast Texas. You can see most of what we're going to be dealing with is going to be to the east and to the north of that surface low. Clearly, we've got a lot to talk about. Let's start with the rain. We're going to have scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms this morning, this afternoon, across the eastern half, eastern two-thirds of Texas. May see a bit of a lull this evening. Storms this morning, this afternoon. Strongest, we could have pocket change size hail, pea, dime, penny, nickel, quarter size, maybe slightly larger, with a few of the more intense severe storms. Damaging winds, not too likely this morning, it doesn't look like. Tornado threat, it's not completely zero, but it's not super duper high either. Maybe a bit of a lull. Then as we get into late tonight, 10, 11 p.m. towards midnight, you can see we're going to see supercellular thunderstorms develop, and they're going to get rowdy in the Concho Valley, the Edwards Plateau, maybe even the southern big country. Those propagate off to the east, east-northeast, into portions of North Texas, probably south of Interstate 20, the highest threat for severe storms. Central Texas, the hill country, south central Texas. Moving east across Interstate 35, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, maybe the Arklatex, maybe even parts of Southeast Texas. Unlike the storms early this morning, this afternoon, these storms tonight actually have a higher risk of being more intense. We could see destructive hail up to the size of baseballs, damaging straight-line winds 60, 70 miles an hour. The tornado threat will not be zero. How high it gets will depend on how many of those storms occur where we see surface temperatures closer to 70 degrees. If there were temperatures at the surface are in the 50s, tornado threat will be very low. Hail threat, mind you, will be high regardless, because we're going to have plenty of instability aloft, but what we'll be looking for in terms of any tornado threat will be those temperatures closer to 70 degrees. That being said, a lot of lightning, hail, damaging winds, the potential for a tornado. By far, I think tonight's biggest, most widespread issue is going to be that hail. And again, given the very cold temperatures aloft, the very impressive dynamics that'll be put on one heck of a snowstorm, which we'll talk about in a minute, definitely could be looking at some damaging hail, even if these storms are crossing I-35 at 5 a.m. in places like Waco, Temple, Belton, Georgetown, Round Rock, Austin, New Braunfels, San Antonio. We'll look at the severe weather outlook in just a moment. Those storms will continue moving east across the Brazos Valley, East Texas, maybe even parts of Southeast Texas and the Arklatex tomorrow morning, before moving east of Texas, probably by about lunchtime. We'll have to keep an eye out for any sort of individual isolated severe storms that try to build back into Southeast Texas Sunday afternoon, as those could have the potential to also be supercellular. All right, that's the severe weather side of this. Heavy rain side, well, we'll talk about that with the graphic here in a minute. Let's talk about snow. All right, as far as snow, this is definitely going to be a significant issue, shaping up to be one of our once every 5 year to once every 10-year snowfall events in terms of somebody getting over a foot of snow. Sort of an ordeal across the Panhandle, West Texas, West Central Texas, highest threat along south of Interstate 40, but the entire Panhandle probably going to get snow. Rolling Plains, South Plains, on and off the Caprock into Northwest Texas, Childress. Uh, Potential for rain to change over to snow in portions of northwest Texas, Texoma, southwestern, southern, central Oklahoma, Sunday afternoon into early Monday morning. We time this right and play our cards right, we may even see some rain mixed with snow in portions of North Texas, northern DFW Metroplex Monday morning. It looks like temperatures are going to stay above freezing, though, in North Texas and most of Texoma, which would keep things on the grass versus road issues. The same will not be said across the entire Texas Panhandle, West Texas, into portions of Northwest Texas, where this will start off with snow, wet roads. Eventually, snow will stick enough to cause slush on roads. Where we see the heaviest snows, it'll go completely snow-packed, even if temperatures are 33, 34 degrees Fahrenheit, and then temperatures drop into the teens Sunday night, Monday morning. Any water, slush, snow on roads freezes up into ice real quick, and that's going to make things a nasty Sunday night, Monday morning commute across the Panhandle, West Texas, even into parts of the Big Country, Northwest Texas, if this model is to be correct. We're expecting the heaviest snows to be 1 to 2 inches of accumulation per hour, maybe a little more. Thundersnow, a distinct possibility with these bands of heavier snow. You can see almost like rotating bands in this case. This is a very dynamic upper-level storm system, and it's going to be one of these that produces a very heavy, wet snow, meaning that wet snow may even stick to some tree branches and power lines, resulting in the possibility of some impacts to power, given the where we see the heaviest snows. Snow should be winding down across the Panhandle, West Texas, late Sunday night into early Monday morning. The potential for some snow to continue across Texoma, North Texas, most likely mixed with rain, into Monday morning. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. Well, real quick, let's look at severe weather outlooks. I know we just discussed in detail severe weather, but let's look at the graphics. Severe weather outlook today, tonight, into early Sunday morning from the Storm Prediction Center. Again, we've already discussed this in great detail. Biggest issue, most widespread, most numerous issue tonight, likely going to be big hail, but a secondary threat of damaging winds and maybe a tornado. We'll keep an eye on it. Here's the severe weather outlook for Sunday morning through early afternoon. Again, those storms moving east out of Texas probably by early afternoon with a continued threat of large hail, localized damaging winds, maybe a tornado. Maybe have a couple of storms try to fire up again Sunday afternoon in southeast Texas. If that occurs, we'll have to watch them for the same issues. All right, let's take a look at forecast precipitation totals. Here we go. Here's the forecast snow accumulation graphic right now. I want to emphasize this is from the Weather Prediction Center, National Weather Service. This is a 50-50 shot, 50% chance it's lower, 50% chance it's higher. And it is worth pointing out here that the way this looks now, 4 to 12 inches of snow. Panhandle along and south of Interstate 40 into west central Texas, West Texas, including Lubbock. I think based on some of the data coming in now, these are going to have to be raised, especially across West Texas, Lubbock, and to Northwest Texas. It is entirely plausible we're talking 12 to 18 inches of snow if the worst case scenario verifies. And again, these are going to occur in smaller bands of heavier snow surrounded by more widespread snows of 3, 6, 8 inches. But those smaller bands, they're going to be narrow, could easily produce twice as much. And for what it's worth, the current forecast for the Weather Prediction Center note that it doesn't have much across southwest central Oklahoma. It is entirely possible there's 5 to 8 inches of snow all the way up in Oklahoma City with this. So I want to emphasize, keep in mind, this is just a guideline. Based on how things shape up over the next 12 hours, it is entirely possible these are going to go way up across the Panhandle, West Texas, with some snow even extending into Northwest Texas, the Big Country, Northern Permian Basin, maybe even a dusting across parts of Texoma, North Texas on the grass. So again, This is going to be one of these situations where we're just going to have to watch, wait, and see. We're not going to have a cold air with this. All this is going to be happening because of the extremely dynamic and intensifying nature of the storm system overhead, causing temperatures aloft to cool very rapidly. That very cold air aloft is going to get dragged down by the heavy precipitation, allowing the rain to change over to a heavy wet snow, even if surface temperatures are 33, 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, that's going to be a key here. 32, 33 Fahrenheit, way more favorable for a heavy wet snow versus 34 and up. If we end up having slightly cooler temperatures, that's how we're going to see these snowfall amounts double and get a lot more widespread across the regions I just described. All right, so it's something we're going to watch, but either way, we're in for a biggin in the winter storm department. This is probably going to be one of the biggest ones we've had since February 2013, when we had, the 2-foot blizzard across the panhandle into northwest Oklahoma. Could have winds gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour at times Sunday afternoon into Monday morning. Now, this is going to be a wet snow, meaning it's not going to blow around that much on the ground, but while it's falling and we get those winds, it is going to be nasty. Travel is not going to be recommended, and in some cases, it's not going to be possible, especially as we get into Sunday night and Monday morning when temperatures fall into the teens, and any wet roads, slush, or snow on roads, the rivets, all that, that'll turn into ice, and that's when things are going to get nasty, especially from sunset onward Sunday, so keep that in mind. Forecast rain totals across the state. This includes the potential for not only rain, but across areas where we're going to have snow, what it's going to look like after it melts all down in the liquid equivalent department. This point, 1 to 3 inches of rain, Arklatex, East Texas, Piney Woods of East Texas, Lufkin East, into portions of the Brazos Valley. Looking at a corridor of 1 to 2 inches, Texoma, North Texas, Central Texas, Western Brazos Valley, Southeast Texas. A corridor of 1 to 3 inches of, liquid equivalent rain after the snow melts across portions of the southeastern Texas Panhandle, West Central Texas, the Big Country, Northwest Texas, Texoma. The potential for 1/2 to 1.5 inches of rain, Concho Valley, Hill Country, South Central Texas, Coastal Plains, Southeast Texas Golden Triangle. Big Bend, Southwest Texas, South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, the Rio Grande Plains, the Coastal Bend. Y'all really miss out on this. You're not looking at a bunch of rain out of this, but definitely we'll have to keep an eye on it. Temperatures over the next few days. We're not going to go into the whole crazy temperature thing we typically do. Let's take a look at what we're expecting for temperatures. I updated this. It didn't want to update, so we're just going to load it on the fly because, we got a lot of stuff to do this morning. It doesn't involve me editing 50 graphics trying to get this to load. Here's the Monday morning temperature outlook as it looks now. Temperatures falling into the teens. The Panhandle, West Texas. Freezing line down into Texoma, the Northwest Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley. It's going to be cool, but we're not looking at a big-time Arctic outbreak. I want to keep that in mind. We're not seeing big Arctic air mass coming on the backside of this. All the snow from this is being driven by the storm system itself, not a cold air mass already in place or advecting into place. High temperatures Monday, you can see, even with a snowpack, let me clarify. Snowpack and the Panhandle temperatures are probably going to be colder than this, but if they're not, we're still going to get above freezing. Highs, 30s, 40s, 50s, northern half of Texas, 60s, even 70s, southern half of Texas on Monday, behind the cold front. And again, that just goes to show you, we're not dealing with a big cold snap after this. Yeah, it's going to be cooler. It's going to be more like it should be in February, but come on now. High of 55 in Dallas in early February, mid-February. That's still pretty nice compared to what it could be. Go back 3 years and you'll get your reason for that. Here's Tuesday's high temperature forecast. We're back into the 60s and 70s across 75-80% of Texas, 50s in the Panhandle. So whatever snow falls tonight, Sunday, and early Monday, it's going to be long gone by probably Tuesday. That being said, temperatures are going to fall back below freezing northwest half of Texas Monday night to Tuesday morning, so whatever water's on the road or slush or melted snow will freeze back up into black ice, but it'll melt pretty quickly again after sunrise Tuesday. So that is it for your Saturday morning edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. It's more like a crazy weather briefing at this point, but you know what Mother Nature's going to do, what Mother Nature's going to do. We're just going to try to give you the best information we can. So, again, we're going to have a written post accompanying all this with the graphics, all that, so you can go over, reference that, TexasStormChasers.com, or just open the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. It'll be there along with the embed of this video. And as always, you are welcome to visit us all on the social media platforms, blah, blah, blah. We got too much to do to promote social media platforms. You get the gist. We appreciate all of y'all watching, keeping up, giving us those thumbs up, commenting, subscribing. Yippity-doo, yippity-yay, let's get on with it. There's a lot to do today, so we'll probably have multiple videos. We're going to have chasers out later today, tonight, into Sunday morning for both severe weather and for snow, and we'll probably have at least one more forecast video today, somewhat like this, just to go over everything. We'll have other smaller updates throughout the day. We're going to have a meteorological discussion for meteorologist Trey Greenwood on the severe weather potential later today. That'll be a good thing to watch, and we'll keep an eye on things. So, all right, that's it for your Saturday morning update. As always, we appreciate it. We'll chat with you later. God bless.